Hi everyone, I'm Lauren LaFortuna, Director of IT Support Services. And today I'm going to talk about how we did our drive to ITSM with ServiceNow. So a little bit about Aeroelectronics and then talk about what we accomplished with this whole project. So Aeroelectronics is an electronic distributor and service provider. We are a global company with over 22,000 employees located and serving actually over 90 countries. We started off as a small radio shop in New York City and have grown to a Fortune 104 company. And we are probably one of the largest companies you have never heard of. Right? Our marketing team likes to say that you have touched Aero in some way about 5 times before you leave the house in the morning. We're part of most electronic devices, whether that be with your phone or Alexa device or your refrigerator. Pretty much everything is electronic now, and so we're in that somehow, some way. So talking about our project, we had before this, we already had HR, ServiceNow HR module, and also ITOM, Operations Management. So we did roll out our full CMDB with ServiceNow, but we had to understand what we needed for this next phase and do a whole nother business case and really fight to get ServiceNow in there. It was a 3-year business case fight. But we did it, and we really called out what we needed with our system. We were very large, disparate systems, many different teams doing different things, no standards, no processes, not a common user experience throughout our entire organization. So you could go to one area and ask for application support and other areas for desktop support, and it was just not a common user experience. And we needed to change that. Our executives would come to us and say, well, how is IT doing? And depending on who they were asking, it was a different story and different presentation. So there was no commonality with all of that. And we were continuing to support our business that way. And then we also had no way of innovating and automating and putting in new features and functionality that really users expect in today's age. So we saw that we needed to do it, and as I said, luckily we got the approval and finally were able to go forward. So we started off our project in COVID in January of 2021. We did our big kickoff, and we did a big bang. So one day, on Wednesday, we were using our old systems, and on Thursday, we went into ServiceNow. And we went full incident management with services and service offerings, so doing the whole CSDM model that you probably have other events on, and putting all of that in there, understanding what all of the services were. We did a full service portal, so replacing email as a source to contact support. We put in a beautiful service portal as well. Service catalog with over 300 catalog items to give unique forms and requests and items for our customers to meet their needs. We also did knowledge management. So we followed the knowledge-centered service methodology, KCS, and put in knowledge management, and that is a whole nother presentation in itself. Just following that methodology, try to keep your knowledge fresh and up to date. We did problem management, so we were using that for tracking our major incidents, understanding tasks and everything, and trying to get to those root causes for our major incidents. Event management, so pulling in all of our monitoring systems and putting them into one centralized location so we can consolidate and have that single pane and get your incidents for that one item or one event. And then also mobile. So our customers now could come to us through that portal, through phone call, and then also the mobile device. And mobile was actually a consolidated mobile platform with our HR. So when you go out to our mobile device or mobile platform, you would see either HR and you would see both HR and IT content. Then in September, we went live with project management using SPM and really using that for our capital projects time entry, and facilities. So facilities also needed that one place to go to have customers report their facilities needs, so we gave them that on the portal as well. And then we weren't done. We kept going. In November, we implemented hardware and software asset management. So I said we already had our CMDB with doing discovery and all of that, but now we were putting our end user devices into there as well. And then also adding all of our software so we could start tracking that and start tracking the costs with that. And virtual agent. So we put up 5 conversations for our virtual agents using the out-of-the-box conversations as well. Right. So we were busy for a whole year. All right, so what are some of the lessons learned? One of them, I would say, is give your team more time between phases. We did, as you saw, a lot. And if you ever need to bump your schedule, we ended up having to bump our schedule for the first phase by 2 weeks, so not much, but it certainly then goes into the next phase. So we were doing kickoffs on phase 2 while we're still trying to make sure, taking care of some of those little tweaks and everything that you have to do after phase 1. So the team was exhausted. So certainly give yourself some more time, kind of spread it out. Ensure proper resource planning. So we had a couple of key roles that were important for this project. With Acorio was our partner, and on their side, they had a key architect for us, and then certainly on our side, our main developers and admins, key folks. But within the year, they too have a life. So things kind of catch up. So certainly making sure that you have enough resources, trying to spread that out, even with your service providers. Aero, as I mentioned, right, global, very complex, lots of different processes, lots of people want to give their opinion as how things should be done. So it's very complex. We needed to kind of give ourselves a little bit more time in there for that complexity so we could understand that. We didn't know what we didn't know, obviously, but certainly just trying to give yourself a little bit more time there. And then aim for simplicity, right? You hear over and over again the crawl, walk, run concept. We certainly needed to take that advice sometimes. One example we did, we were planning on using the UI, and then we saw Agent Workspace and said, yes, we want that. That looks fantastic. So now we configured everything in the UI, and now we have to configure everything in Agent Workspace. We didn't need that day one go live. We could have walked into that a little bit later on. But we added that complexity, which then adds complexity to training and all of that. So take that advice, make sure you walk or crawl before you walk. All right, so what are some of the things that really worked well for us? At the very beginning of the project, we set some guiding principles. And these were like keeping with out of the box, adhering to best practices, making sure that we were trying to keep that KCS to try to get to automation, keeping with our goals of the organization, making sure we're coming up with a global perspective of this. And so we wanted to remember those. We would start off meetings and say, don't forget our 6 guiding principles. Everything was during COVID, so everything was virtual. So I did a Teams background, and I had the 6 guiding principles behind me, so we'd always remember. And then we'd have debates, and if something came up, we would start debating. It's like, wait a minute, does this fall into our 6 guiding principles? Which one would be the right solution? So it helped us throughout, just having that constant reminder. We did thorough testing, and probably maybe overly tested at times. We did it throughout. We didn't wait until the end. So I'm probably even, much to the dismay of Acorio, right, of how much we really tested and forced this to be right because of the complexity and everything that we had to do. We had a lot of people. It took a lot of time to do this, but it really paid off. By the time we went live, there was little things and not necessarily a big thing for us to have to fix. So it really worked for us. Our global service desk did dual entry for several weeks before go live. So as I said, we were doing that big bang, and we wanted them to be confident and ready to go with that. So they would, for a few weeks before go live, they would take calls, do the entry in our current ticketing system, then swivel over and do the entry into ServiceNow test environment. And this just gave them the confidence, it made sure that we had everything planned for, and it just really worked out for them. And so when they did go live on that day, when we said we're live now, they were ready to go. Our hypercare process, what we planned for that was 2 weeks of hypercare where we set up a Teams bridge and said, okay, just join in if you have questions. It was manned by an expert on there. And so anyone could drop in, ask their questions, listen in if other people had questions, and really get some information. We planned it for 2 weeks. After 1 week, we shut it down because nobody was showing up. So everyone had the information that they need, and it really just worked out well. And then organizational change management was another area that I was really proud of my team for doing. This took a lot of effort, but it really paid off tenfold in the end. We did weekly emails leading up to our go live for about 6 weeks. And they were short little emails, bullet points of what was going to happen, but giving them some key information, and then quick little 3-minute videos that also got them excited. So we were giving them services and service offerings, right? A whole new concept. We were giving them impact and urgency to set priorities, a whole new concept. We were giving them SLAs, a whole new concept. So we were trying to get them all excited about all these new things that were coming, and they did. They got excited. These emails were short and sweet, and so they were easily digested. People enjoyed them. And then we gave them training videos as well. So we did the full training, of course, but then the training videos were cut into small little sections. So it wasn't a big, long, hour-long training video or anything like that. It was a training video on how to create tickets, how to change priority, how to reassign tickets. So it was just much easier for them to digest. And then we also have all of this collateral to continue to train new employees as they come on. All right. And I think with that, I'm done. So I'm sure you might have questions, or maybe you don't. But if you do, I will be over here. So certainly available for questions. So thank you.